Electroneuromyograph with an option of brain-evoked potential study, Neuromyan, is manufactured in 2, 4, or 5-channel modifications with different software versions, which provide both inexpensive and elite expert class devices. The sales package contains a remote controller with an option of work with electrodes of electrostimulator, which allows regulating stimulation parameters and makes it easier to carry out standard tests without using PC mouse or keyboard. The remote controller contains connectors for electrodes attachment located on the front part, stimulation area, encoder, wheel regulator, selection area. Process of MCV measurement begins with the selection of studied nerve and stimulation points. The software provides a wide range of settings for each test. Oscilloscope and monitoring of electrode impedances ensure that the signal of use channel has no disturbances and allows controlling the study quality. Signal window with M responses from distal and proximal points. Markers are set automatically on each received M response. The calculated parameters window contains 2 tables with automatically calculated data. Study of F-wave latency. Therefore, the stimulation points, record points, and stimulus level are already detected. On completion of the work with the markers, the calculated parameters table contains time and amplitude characteristics of all responses, and the main data table shows integral indices on the aggregate of all responses, histograms of latency and amplitude distribution, and visual analysis of F-waves by the superposition method are provided for additional analysis. Sensory conduction velocity study, record of sensory nerve potential. Integral tables for carried out techniques compactly represent the number and results of the test that allows a physician to ascertain the need for further tests and choose the type of these tests. General protocol is automatically generated for all the tests after analysis and comments on the techniques. Print Manager unites all the obtained results, signals, calculated and integral parameters, and physician's comments on each test into one output document. Tunnel syndrome is a complex of clinical manifestations caused by compression, nerve entrapment in narrow anatomical spaces. Inching differs from nerve conduction velocity study in the fact that inching uses from 8 to 10 short segments of 1 cm long. Electrodes, record technology, record and stimulation parameters are the same as for motor conduction velocity study. The study of the sensory conduction is carried out by stepwise stimulation, with the nerve impulse directed from the periphery to the proximal parts. Study of the sensory conduction is implemented in the orthodromic and antidromic techniques. Ash Reflex. The software provides viewing test results both for all tracks and for each track separately. Main data for the analysis are presented in the form of graphs of H and N responses amplitude dependence on stimulus intensity value. Record and stimulation parameters, integral tables data, and test conclusion are automatically included in the comments of general protocol. Blink reflex study recommended for the diagnosis of facial nerve neuropathy, test recording, automatic settings of the markers, and filling of the automatically generated table of calculated parameters. For the differential diagnosis of myasthenia and Lambert-Eaton syndrome, as well as for the diagnosis of botulism, multiple sclerosis, and other peripheral motor neuron diseases. Automatic implementation of the test according to a predetermined scenario. Stimulation scenario contains the most frequently used functional tests: a basic test, standard test, maximal voluntary contraction, relaxation or post-tetanic relief, post-tetanic exhaustion, and user test. The main data table is meant to monitor dynamics of response parameters between functional tests. With the help of the PC mouse, the researcher selects EMG area and goes to MUP window where marker's position is corrected. Selection consists in successive fragment selection from the recorded ones in the Saved Data window and saving them in MUP buffer. By the end of the study, test conclusion is automatically generated and then can be enlarged by a doctor manually. Print Manager unites all the obtained results, signals, calculated and integral parameters, and physician's comments into one output document.